You're being robbed, not by a pickpocket, not by a hacker in a dark room halfway across the world. You're being robbed by the very companies whose products you've been buying your entire life. And you've been trained not to notice. The vast majority of packaged goods in the United States have shrunk since 2020. Nearly everything you pull off a shelf, the cereal you've eaten since childhood, the chips you grab without thinking, the toilet paper you never bother to inspect is smaller than it was just a few years ago. And almost none of it got cheaper. According to data from the Kilt Center at Chicago booth, the typical shrinkage across all categories is about 1/10 of the product. But here's where it gets sneaky. A study found something that should make you angry. We are roughly twice as sensitive to price increases as we are to the same amount being taken out of the box. Your brain is hardwired to be terrible at catching this specific kind of theft. You see $4.99 and your gut feeling says same as always. You don't see the ounce or two that quietly vanished. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and uncovering specific products and specific mind games that are draining hundreds of dollars from your bank account every single year. The $41 ghost in your grocery bill. Did you know that shrinkflation alone is costing the average American family of 4 an extra $41 every single year, according to the Kilt Center at Chicago booth? And that's just the hidden cost. That's the money that disappeared without ever showing up on a price tag. Add in actual sticker price increases, and the total yearly grocery burden for that same family has jumped by hundreds of dollars since 2020. But here's the thing about that $41. You never saw it leave your wallet. There was no moment at the register where you thought, wow, that's expensive now. The price looked normal. The package looked normal. Your brain registered nothing unusual, and that's exactly how this works. The analysis of America's most popular grocery brands from 2020 through 2026 shows the numbers are shocking. Take M&M's peanut milk chocolate candy family size. In 2020, you paid $4.99 for over 19 ounces. Today, that same bag costs $9.49 and contains just over 18 ounces. That's nearly double the price paired with a smaller bag for the exact same product. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes family size is up over 30% in price, and the box has shrunk by about 10%. Honey Nut Cheerios family size is up over 20% with less inside. Doritos Nacho Cheese Party size has climbed while the bag shed some of its contents. But the data reveals something even more calculated. Analysts spotted a very specific two-step pattern. Step 1, raise the price. Wait a year. Step 2, quietly reduce the package size while keeping that higher price locked in place. Doritos executed this perfectly. Price jumped in 2022. Then, in 2023, the bag shrunk, and the price never moved. Frosted Flakes followed the identical plan. And here's the detail that proves this isn't short-term. Every single brand that shrank its package between 2022 and 2024 kept the smaller size in 2026. Not one brand restored the original amount. Once they take it away, it's gone forever. Coca-Cola might be the most helpful case study. The price gap between formats has grown so large it borders on ridiculous. A 12-pack of cans jumped from under $5 to nearly $9. But here's where they really get you. Shoppers buying the 10-pack of 7.5-ounce mini cans now pay a huge premium per ounce compared to a 2-liter bottle. You are paying more than double the cost per sip for the exact same soda. The paper product scandal. If you think you're safe because you don't buy name brand snacks, listen carefully. The category hit hardest by shrinkflation is household paper products. And this matters because it's something every single person watching this buys. Every household, every week. The US Government Accountability Office found that the majority of paper products they looked at had been downsized between 2019 and 2024. That's the highest rate of any category. The hidden price increases caused just by making the roll smaller added significant cost on top of the price hikes you actually see on the shelf. Let's talk about toilet paper, because this is where the trick becomes genuinely impressive in its boldness. Manufacturers have realized something about human behavior that is both obvious and harmful to your wallet. Nobody counts sheets. You look at a roll and your brain makes a quick judgment. That looks about right. You don't check the fine print, you just grab it and go. And they've built an entire profit plan around that single moment of human inattention. Purex Megalong toilet paper rolls were reduced from 450 sheets per roll to 410 sheets. That's less product for the exact same cost. Viva paper towels had a dozen sheets taken off their triple roll packs. Bounty triple rolls were reduced. A mega roll today might offer fewer sheets than a standard roll did a decade ago. The word mega has been completely emptied of meaning. It's no longer a description, it's a marketing word for less. But they don't just reduce sheet count. Some manufacturers have reduced the diameter of the cardboard tube in the center. A smaller tube makes the roll look larger on the shelf. Your eye sees a big roll. Your hand grabs a big roll. But inside is less paper than before. Others have made the paper itself thinner, meaning each sheet does less work. You use more sheets per visit. The roll disappears faster. You buy more rolls. And you never once think, I'm being cheated. You just think, wow, we go through toilet paper fast. This is a double punch of sneaky reduction. You get fewer sheets, and each sheet is worse. The chocolate Easter egg heist. If you want to see shrinkflation in its purest, most unapologetic form, look at the seasonal chocolate aisle. Easter 2026 has become a case study in how corporations use short-term excuses to make long-term changes. And the story they're selling you about cocoa prices, it's not the whole story. In the United Kingdom, a consumer group found that a specific bag of Cadbury Easter candy went up 60% in price in just 1 year. A large Galaxy milk chocolate egg went up in price while losing weight. The actual cost by weight jumped significantly. In Australia, eggs have vanished from the box over 2 years, while the price went up by several dollars. Now here's where the trick really stings. Manufacturers point to high cocoa prices as the reason. And yes, cocoa prices hit record highs in 2024. That part is true. But here's what they don't want you to know. Cocoa prices have since dropped sharply from that peak. The emergency is over. The market has corrected, yet higher prices and smaller packages remain firmly in place. A research report from a major agricultural bank warned chocolate lovers not to expect costs to return to normal even if cocoa prices did. They're telling you, in writing, that they're using a short-term supply problem as permanent cover for bigger profits. They're banking on the fact that by the time cocoa prices settle down, you'll have forgotten what the original size even looked like. And they're right. Can you honestly remember how many ounces were in that bag of Easter candy 3 years ago? Neither can anyone else. That's the entire game plan. Skimpflation, when they change what's inside. We've been talking about shrinkflation, where the package gets smaller. But there's an even sneakier cousin called skimpflation. The box looks the same, weighs the same, costs the same. But inside, the good stuff has been quietly swapped for cheaper stuff. The term entered the mainstream thanks to a public disagreement involving the grandson of the Reese's founder. He accused the Hershey company of changing recipes, claiming certain items are replacing real milk chocolate with fake coatings and real peanut butter with peanut butter-style fillings. Hershey disagrees for classic cups, but admits that as they make more products, recipes might change. Lindsay Owens of the Groundwork Collaborative explained the money side in terms that should make your blood run cold. Skimpflation is the practice of cutting corners on quality. In theory, you'd think at least it didn't hit your wallet quite so hard. But what we're seeing is a real double punch. Worse quality, paired not with savings, but with higher prices. You're paying more for a worse product. That's not regular inflation, that's just taking advantage of you. The food industry has developed a whole new vocabulary for this. If a product can no longer legally be called milk chocolate because it doesn't meet the standards, manufacturers slap terms like chocolatey coating on the package. Let me translate. Chocolatey means not chocolate. It's a warning sign you're getting a cheaper knockoff. White Kit Kats in some markets have seen the good cocoa butter replaced with cheaper fats. Palm oil has replaced butter in countless baked goods. Real vanilla extract has been swapped for the fake stuff. And it's not just food. Clothing is made with thinner fabrics and weaker stitching. Fast fashion clothes now last about 1.5 years on average, down from 2 years a few years ago. Appliances use cheaper plastic gears instead of metal, failing much faster than older models. Smartphone batteries lose their charge quicker due to cost cutting in cell quality. You're not imagining it. Your stuff genuinely doesn't last as long as it used to. They're designing products to break down faster, so you have to buy replacements sooner. It's the business model. Drinkflation, watering down your booze. There's a third version of this called drinkflation. Instead of making the bottle smaller, manufacturers are making what's inside weaker. Coors has announced it is dropping the alcohol strength of its lager. Heineken and other major brewers have done the same. The move has become so widespread it's earned its own name, drinkflation. Weaker beer, same or higher price. Why the specific lower strength? In some places, new tax savings were introduced for beers with lower alcohol content. Manufacturers pay significantly less in alcohol tax. That savings isn't passed along to you. The price at the store stays the same or goes up. The brewer keeps the difference. You're literally drinking watered-down beer and paying premium prices for it. This is the shrinkflation playbook applied to a liquid. Change the product just enough to reduce costs, but not enough that most people notice. And if you do notice, they'll point to the tax code or health trends, rather than admit the obvious. They're cutting corners and betting you won't switch brands. The psychology of why you don't notice. So why do we let them get away with this? The answer lies in how our brains are wired. We are literally hardwired to be terrible at catching this specific kind of trick. That study we mentioned earlier found we are roughly twice as sensitive to price increases as we are to the same amount being taken out of the box. If a bag of chips goes from $4.99 to $5.99, you notice. Your brain registers the loss. You might get angry. You might switch brands. But if that same bag stays at $4.99 and quietly drops from 10.5 ounces to 9 ounces, most of us never see the change. Our brains simply do not track quantity with the same focus we apply to price. This is why companies use this method. They've studied us. They know our blind spots better than we know them ourselves. As researchers have shown, the sting of loss is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gain. A visible price hike feels like a loss. An invisible size reduction slips right past our mental defenses. There's also the left digit effect. When we see a price, our brains latch onto the first digit. $4.99 feels a lot cheaper than $5, even though the difference is a penny. Manufacturers use this by holding the price just below that line, even as the product shrinks. You see $4.99 and feel like you're still getting a deal, totally missing that the cost per ounce has jumped by 10% or more. The data shows a troubling feeling of giving up. According to polling, most US consumers say they're concerned about shrinkflation, and that concern is growing. Yet the share of people likely to stop buying certain products over it has dropped. We're noticing it more, but doing less about it. A kind of learned helplessness is setting in. And here's the most frustrating finding. After a product is downsized, sales often go up. They make the product smaller, keep the price the same, and sell more of them. They're making more money by giving you less. It's a business model built entirely on you not paying close attention. The regulatory vacuum. How is any of this legal? The answer is simple and maddening, because almost no one has made it illegal. Shrinkflation is quite legal, so long as the size or weight is printed on the package. The FDA doesn't require manufacturers to announce when they reduce a product's size. No sticker saying, "now with less inside." They just update the fine print on the back in a font size that requires a magnifying glass, and move on. If companies get away with it, it's because we don't read the weight on every item every time we shop. And they're counting on that. The Government Accountability Office found that while shrinkflation added a tiny amount to the official inflation rate, its effect on specific categories was far larger. For household paper products, it added several percentage points to the real cost increase beyond what the reports captured. For coffee, the hidden increase was huge. These are real costs taken from your wallet that never show up in the official inflation news. The government says prices are up a little. Your actual cost of living is up a lot more. There is hope coming from outside the United States. France became the first country to legally require shrinkflation warning labels in 2024. Stores must now place clear signs on products that have been reduced in size while keeping the same price, with large fines for breaking the rule. South Korea has similar rules. Australia is making its pricing labels stronger. In the US, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has introduced the Shrinkflation Reduction Act, and Senator Elizabeth Warren has called out major soda and food companies for taking advantage of shoppers. Bills have been proposed to make the government treat shrinkflation as a deceptive act. But as of now, none have become law. The corporate lobby is powerful, and being honest on the shelf is expensive for the corporations that would have to do it. How to fight back? So what do? Do we just accept getting less for more forever? No. There are real steps you can take starting today. And the most powerful weapon is the single most boring thing in the grocery store, the unit price tag. Every shelf in most major stores has a small sticker on the rail beneath the product. It lists the price per ounce, per pound, per sheet, or per 100 count. That number is the only thing that matters. Ignore the big colorful $4.99 on the front. Look at the tiny numbers on the shelf tag. That's the only way to compare a 14.4 ounce bag against a 15.5 ounce bag. Apps on your phone can automate this, scanning barcodes and showing you the real per unit costs. For things that don't go bad, buy in bulk from Costco or Sam's Club, where shrinkflation is less common. Manufacturers are less likely to play games with the giant packs because restaurants and businesses watch those prices like a hawk. When you notice a product has shrunk, call it out. Post it on social media. Tag the company. Shrinkflation works because it happens quietly. The moment it becomes loud, the math changes for them. Consumer watchdog websites track these reductions. Use them. And perhaps most importantly, buy whole foods. An apple doesn't have shrinkflation. A pound of ground beef is exactly a pound. The outer edges of the grocery store, produce, meat, dairy, bulk bins, are safer than the middle aisles filled with boxes and bags. The less processing, the harder it is for a corporation to quietly take value away from you. But you're not powerless. You have the information now. You know to look at the unit price, not the sticker price. You know that chocolatey coating means you're getting cheated. You know that weaker beer is just regular beer with water and tax savings that never reached your wallet. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments, what's the worst example of shrinkflation you've spotted in your own shopping cart? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.